Hello everyone, my name is Joshua and welcome to a Che training session. Today we are looking at the topic of how to track attendance for your microcampus. And of course we know that tracking attendance is important, and we have a method that we're going to be using for the 2023 semester, and so let's get into it. The first thing you'll need to do is navigate to your Google Sheets. If you don't know where to find that, easiest way is just to go to your Che Gmail account and go to the Google Apps button in the top right. If you select that, you'll see Google Sheets as one of the options of an app that you can select. So we'll do so. And you may have Sheets already in this portion here. But to find the one that we made for you, it's a template. We're going to go to Template Gallery in the top right. We select that, and we have this one called Microcampus Attendance Report. And this is a template that we've made for all the microcampus leaders. And as a template, what that means is it's for everyone. It's not individually yours. And so the very first thing that you're going to do before we change anything is we need to make a copy. We're not going to rename this. We're going to make a copy of this one. So we're going to go to the top left, File, down a couple. You'll see Make a Copy. It's then going to say Copy Document, and you can rename your attendance sheet. You can rename it after your microcampus. It's going to save it to your Google Drive, which is a great place. And then it gives you this option, share it with the same people. Please don't do that, because then we're going to be seeing each other's attendance sheets, and that's really confusing. But then you're going to go ahead and select Make a Copy, and you'll know that it's your copy because the name that you just renamed it will be on the top left. So now that we're here, let me orient you to some of the tabs of this worksheet. The tab that we're on right now is just called Overview, and it's the first one on the bottom left. And this is kind of at a glance how your students are doing in attendance. And we've got three main portions. We have the names of the students, both first and last. We've got these semester hours and total days. And then we have an activity key over here. So starting with the first one, it just says student 1, student 2, student 3. You could add the names of all of your students, but a much easier way is if you just go to your Airtable account and to your database. I've got Leslie Cooper's microcampus up right now as an example, but go to first name, last name, because that corresponds with first name, last name. And we're going to copy this and import it over. And so you can select first name of the first student, hold shift, go to the last name. While you're still holding shift, go all the way down to your last student and their last name. And once you click that, it selects all of them. You can then press Control C or Command C. That's going to copy it. We go back over to our sheet, select student 1, and then you can press Command V, and that is our paste shortcut. So you'll notice that it numbers all 15 of the students, and it expands the table so that everybody's hours are being tracked. So we've successfully imported the students, and what's great is once you've done it there, you've done it in all of the month tabs as well. That's great. Now we're going to look at these three columns: semester 1 hours, total hours absent, total days absent. The good news is this is just for you to see and view. You don't have to do anything here. This is going to actually auto-populate as you manipulate the data in the monthly views. So we're just going to leave this alone. The next portion is this activity key. And by default, you've been given 4 categories of activities that you will probably want to track attendance. And those are class time, field trip, private lessons, and something like a venture off trip. But what's great is this portion is all customizable, and you've got additional rows for you to make your own legend, and just any time that you really want to track any attendance time, you can add more. So I'm going to change this one just to show you guys to let's call it cupcake time. want to go to a micro campus that had cupcake time. And we're just going to put CUP for short. And now, why this is important is because if we go to a month view here in August, it's going to play into these activities that we're going to look at here. So you'll notice, again, the names are here. Total hours, this is basically attended hours, and this is going to change by itself. And then these are absent hours. It'll also change by itself. This activity row here, like we were just talking about, corresponds to the activity key. So let's say I'm planning out my month and I've got certain classes that certain portions of my microcampus come to. They don't go to all of it, but I have certain classes and I have cupcake classes on every week. So the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, so on and so forth. So now it is going to track cupcake time. You'll notice a number under that. This is, it corresponds to the date. So this is actually the 7th of August. The 7th of August, if we scroll all the way down, we see 31st. So right now we are ready to start tracking attendance for cupcake time on August 7th. So let's say that Charlotte comes to cupcake time. We have to, in this yellow, this is really important, we have to tell the worksheet how many hours this event lasts for. What is the duration, or what is the maximum amount of hours that a student can be present for, can attend. And it's important that we think through hours because that is the base measurement of time that we're going to be using, hours, not days. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later, but we need to put a time here, or an amount of hours here. What we don't want to do is change any of these numbers, because that's just the days of the month, the dates. So let's say I've got all my cupcake making supplies ready, and I'm ready to have students. When we start at 8 a.m., for easy math, we're going to say it goes to 8 p.m. So this is a 12-hour cupcake time because we are really serious about cupcakes. So Charlotte comes for all 12 hours, as does her sisters. So what we see here is hours attended, total hours 12. No hours absent, which is great. But let's say my son Johnny, he's not as passionate about making cupcakes, and so I have to fight with him to come to class, and I lose, and so he's absent. He no-shows. He is actually absent for those 12 hours, not present, and so it's tracking his absent hours here. Just to continue on, my daughter Saffron comes for 12 hours, but my daughter Jade wasn't feeling well that morning, but she did end up coming later, so she comes for 6 hours. What you're going to see that does is we have Johnny, who is present for 0 hours, absent for 12, vice versa with Saffron, but Jade is both present for 6 hours and also absent for 6 hours. What's crazy about that is if we go to overview, we see that it's already begun to track all of this. And we see, in fact, that Jade has 1 day absent. And the reason that is because there's a formula in the worksheet already made where if anyone is absent for 5 hours, it equals 1 academic day of being absent. So again, you don't have to do anything, that's already automatic. But if you look at my son Johnny, he's got 2 days, and he's actually working close to a 3rd day of being absent. So this is a great way of viewing as you go throughout the semester who's doing well and who's really attending and who's struggling there. But another thing that's really great about this worksheet is that um, you'll notice there are these blank cells here. Well, what does that mean? Because they're all zero, both on present and absent. What this is denoting by leaving them blank is that they weren't supposed to attend this. That it was designed for some people enrolled in Cupcake Time, but not everybody. And you can track different kinds of activities that maybe, let's say, the kindergartners through fourth graders do this art time, or the older high school students, or whatever. You can track even at almost an individual level their attendance to really suit your needs. And that's, again, by making different activities here and then selecting those. So just as another example, let's say a couple days later, we have a private lesson, and we're going to put, actually I won't. I want to show you what happens if you don't put a number here. Let's say that the couches take violin lessons because they're very proper. Okay, so they were present for 2 hours, but it also shows that they were absent for negative 2 hours. Okay, something's not right here. Well, that's because we didn't tell the worksheet what was the maximum amount of hours that they could be there for. So if it was a 4-hour lesson, you'll see that it's present for half of it. So we're going to put this as 2. So great. They were present for both two of the hours, and then they're not absent at all. And you can do this again for all kinds of activities that you might have throughout the month. You go to the next month, September, and it's a blank slate for you. And it looks just like August. Each month looks exactly like the one preceding it. And that's basically it. Once you fill out December, we're going to give you further instructions on how to submit that attendance record and report. We're not going to get into that now. Spoiler alert, it's just shooting us over a PDF, and that's really easy to do. But if you have any questions on how to use this, how to import your students, how to adjust the activity keys, please let us know. And we want to thank you so much for what you do, and thanks for joining us today.